yeah, good morning. Happy Friday. The Cornbread Man on the Cornbread Man Morning Show, Friday edition. Happy Friday again, June the 12th, 6:03 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you got to catch the show last night. We also did a TikTok live. We talked about some good old gospel hymns and stuff. And we load that on our Substack. You see the QR code at the top of the screen. That's where some of our extra programming goes. You can go there and become a free subscriber. You don't have to pay for the free. You've been our June contest, which is a Yeti mug, a pack of our samples of our coffee, and a year's paid subscription to Substack. In fact, there will be 3 names drawn at least. We've guaranteed 3. We'll see how it goes, how many entries we get. But we have extra programming, shows that are not seen anywhere else except for clips. One of those is Just How Big a Boy Are You? Episode number 3 be coming up Saturday. Episode number 3 with me, the Cornbread Man, and the Biscuit Boy. Others to join. We have people wanting to be involved. Stories galore. Just How Big a Boy Are You? Videos. Last week we previewed, well, it was a video that was widely spread in our area, general area, hour and a half away, of a confrontation in a parking lot. We talked about that. So we'll continue to do that, and we look forward to it. Also, our TikTok lives, unless you see it live, all you would see is highlights and clips, and we load that there. It's a different program for us. Have a lot of fun with that. We try to have fun with every show. We have other new programming on the way. And yes, I know I have not been here the last 3 days. I have not felt good. I mean, I just got my sleep got all messed up. I've just been struggling with that and wore out. And I'm only 6 weeks out from my wife passing. And I'll tell you, it's just, it's waves of stuff that come at you. So anyway, pray for me. But we're gearing back up. I feel good. Got better sleep lately. And I feel much more rested. And hey, you just ain't as young as you used to be. But, just a lot going on. A lot of stress, nerves, emotions and stuff, and it wears on you. And but we're good. We're glad you're here, though. And the network, as we call it, we're more than a podcast. We're a network. We're fixing to have news on that. We are researching and looking at and negotiating with a lot of different entities to find the right fit for us, for our app, and to expand ourselves. We're going through that process right now. We're not leaping into anything. We have said by the end of the year, you will see, we are a number of podcasts, and we're looking for an outlet for that. And one place that will just gather everything. We'll still broadcast everywhere, but one place where you're just a one-stop shop. You download it to your phone and all that good stuff. You'll capture it all, and it's encapsulated there. Anyway, we're looking for that. So we got a newsletter, blog, a new website we're working on. We'll still have our other website. It'll be linked there. It's just updates can be expensive. We're looking for something we can update a little bit more frequently, at least on the talking side, and just announcements and things like that. So we're looking for a lot of that. But we appreciate you and the support you give us and the prayers. We really do. Let's look at our verse of the day. I love these images. They are such a blessing. Well, we start with a word. Take this moment to say, if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, I implore you to seek Him today. The crazy times we live in, getting closer to the end days, to the last days. Every day, we don't know how close it is. It could be our last day. You never know. I've learned that 6 weeks ago. You never know when's your last day. To be prepared. We have no answer for sin apart from the sacrifice of Jesus, and we're thankful for that. Look at this wonderful. I love the scene. I love the horses, the mountains in the background, the field. And I love this verse. Psalms, what a great place. Last several chapters of Psalms. What an uplifting series of Psalms, singing songs, a lot of praise. This last Psalm 150, verse 6. Let everything that hath breath praise the Lord. Praise ye, all of you, everybody, ye, plural, the Lord. Amen. We can do that. I just think of all these people that go around, they're angry all the time. They have no joy. They're angry at the world. They're angry at this. They're angry at politics. They're angry at Israel. They're angry at Iran. They're angry at America. You can go, the list goes on and on and on. You can't live like that all the time. You just can't. You got to have balance in your life. I've watched people that watch news 24/7. They turn into angry people. Why? Because they want to make you angry. They keep throwing angry stuff at you. Make stuff makes you angry. But you got to balance that. You got to realize who is ultimately in control, and praise will get you back centered, away from the trials and tribulations of life. Amen. And there's serenity in that. I mean, a great picture like that's very meditative, calming effect. They say to have an aquarium or something, an animal of some kind. They bring a calmness to you. They just something you can watch and it's calming. Some people listen to music, very calming music, different kinds. They listen to go to sleep. Kind of just filtrates, and let you unwind a little bit. Download, I call it the great download. You go throughout your day, you got all this stuff. We'll call it. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of things we can call it. We'll just call it stuff. And I have to tell good hello there on Instagram. I have to tell my brain to shut off at night and just cycling stuff, the decompression to release that stuff, and get a good night's rest. You know what? You can pick it up in the morning. Let God do the worrying about all of it. You're not going to change it anyway. I've had people come in the podcast to get very angry. I'm just mad. I want the world to know about all this is going on and the Epstein files and this. And yes, it's horrible. Honestly, there's not a whole lot you can do. We can pray. We can challenge our leaders, yes. But there's no sense in you running your health into the ground. I'm not saying not to be concerned. I'm not saying to be disgusted about it. No. But the level of sin, the level of demonic activity on this earth, there is evil going on every day and all over the world. You destroy yourself trying to like you're going to be the solver of it. No, the answer is already there. It's Jesus. And he's on his way. There's going to be an end day for all this. I know it's tough, but we live in a fallen world. There's a lot of evil out there. We seek for justice, but if we don't get it in this life, trust me, a lot of people say we didn't get justice. I promise you, justice is coming. Justice will come for those who have committed atrocities. That's right. Justice is coming. I mean, if they're just the evil people like that, they're not getting away with anything. God sees all. But again, have calmness in your life. To get wired up about stuff all the time is not good for your health. Have a place that you go to that's your quiet place. The Bible talks about the prayer closet. Go to your prayer closet. And it's good to pray. It'd make you feel better. Listen to some God. It is proven fact. Listening to Christian music calms you, over any kind of music. And I love a lot of kinds of music. Some music can make you angry. Again, I just see people, they're on edge. I mean, it's like, they blow up over a parking spot. Who cares? Really? I know we don't like people acting up, and you got to catch yourself. I had a lady do that with me one time, and I pulled up, and I'm like, really? And I thought, you know what? Let her have it. Who cares? At the end of the day, who cares? I was going to the mall. I don't normally go to malls. This was years ago. Years, probably 25 years ago or more. I still remember it. You remember stuff like that. I thought, you know what? I'm having a good day. I'm going to go in here. Let her have the doggone parking space. It don't matter. She did wrong. She knew I was waiting on it. It's okay. It'll all catch up on her. And I didn't wish her bad. Just did a dummy move. Just stop and say a prayer for them and move on. People just so ready to hit the roof. Go ballistic over stuff. Got to have a little more balance than that. Because there's all kinds of things that's going to set you off in this life. Sometimes you got to walk away from stuff. Working on the car. Working on a project that's not going good, throw a wrench or two. It's time to step away. Take a breath. It'll be okay. This is your Friday, instructions for the weekend. Let it go. Release that demon. It's like, you got no power over me. People, they just want to, they're angry and they're mad and they want you to be mad. And I just don't want to be mad. I really don't. As you get older, those things make you feel bad. I used to have a snap temper when I was young, and I realized, I didn't feel good after that. Your blood pressure gets up. And, you gotta let some stuff go. You really do. If you don't, you're gonna destroy your health, and nobody wants you to do that. Let's look at national days today. And along this note, this is perfect timing for it. It's National Loving Day. Amen. National Loving Day. Shows a couple of people there with their baby and a heart between them. You know what? Show love today. Just be a loving person. I was going through my granddaughter. I show them. They look at me sometimes, and it just cracks them up. It's my 13, almost 14. She's not quite 14 yet. Anyway, I was we she wanted to stop. We were coming back from somewhere. I don't even remember where, and she wanted to go to the McDonald's. It's a kids thing. So anyway, we did. We both got something, but anyway, we pulled up. We paid the money. We pulled on up, and this lady she had a beautiful smile. I mean, just a beautiful. I mean, she had the kind of smile that would melt away the bad of the day and just make your day great. And she was so kind, great customer service, just everything. I like to encourage people. I really do. I think that we don't get enough encouragement in our life sometimes. People are always ready to crack on us and, say that we're this or that. Anyway, I come back or she come back and I said, before she closed the door, I said, hey, I said, don't ever lose your smile. Of course, she smiled even more. I said, your smile will take you a long way in life. I promise you. And she's like, oh, thank you. I said, you have a gift, use it. She just had a great smile. And my granddaughter says, shaking her head, she goes, I can't believe you do stuff like that. I said, why not? I said, you know what? How many people pull up to this window? I didn't get my ketchup. Yeah, this is not right. Or they're just grumbling. I'm in a hurry. Why'd you have to take so long? There's all kinds of things. You just take it out on them. People think that's like, open season to just be a butt. Pull up and be nice. Be the different. And there's a lot of nice people. I'm not suggesting everybody is because they're not. Sometimes when I'm at a restaurant inside, I watch the drive. I'm the nut like that. I like to watch the inner workings of a place, and I watch because they got the timers now, and you got, they have to hurry because they get judged on keep your job or lose your job if you don't. I watch how people pull up, and sometimes they're not nice. They're just indifferent. It's like they got their mind on 10 things, and it's just like, yeah, here's the money. They don't even pay attention to the person. I'm thinking that's a human being. Take a moment and engage the human being. And then you do have the people pull up, and they're just like, I couldn't hear you on the box. I don't know if you got that right or not. I'm in a hurry here. It's like bark at them, and they see a lot of that, I'm sure, and more, I would say. Pull up and give them a praise God. Amen. I tell them a lot of times, I say, you know what? Thanks for being here. And they'll look at me like, what? Well, thank you, I guess. And I said, well, you better. Yeah. I said, you know what? If you weren't here, I wouldn't have anybody to get my biscuit from anymore or something. I said, thanks for what you do. You don't make enough for what you do, but I appreciate what you do. I know they don't, and I'm not saying they should be paid, like people want today, $30 an hour, but a lot of times they don't make very much. But they work hard. And a lot of them are retirees, they're hanging on. They're limping to the window because it's hard to get good workers nowadays. Encourage them. Goes back to that. Praise, praise ye the Lord. Be a person of praise. Loving Day, I like that. It's also National Red Rose Day. That'd be nice to do. I don't have a wife now living to take a red rose to. I guess I could take it to the cemetery. Maybe I'll do that. But Red Rose Day, give somebody a red rose. Roses are very special, beautiful, also expensive. It says Red Rose Day, not roses. Go ahead and get the dozen. It's National Movie Night. That's all fits together. It's a loving day with a red rose, and you get the movie night. And just to make sure that things are really going good, it's National Peanut Butter Cookie Day. Hey, that's always good. Have some little sweet tooth, little cookies. That's not good enough for you. Then it's also National Beef Jerky Day for the guy who doesn't want maybe the peanut butter cookie. I don't know who would want that. I'm not going to say I love every cookie, but does anybody really turn down a certain cookie unless they're allergic to it? You really turn down a cookie, you may have your favorite. Like macadamia nut, yay. You know, sugar cookies, yay. But some people, you like different ones. I like the ones that's got the M&Ms loaded in there. It's not good for you. I don't do it all the time. You can't do it. I was bad yesterday. I stopped and got the ladies some donuts and muffins at work, and I tried a couple of them donuts to sprinkle. Boy, they were good. And I took the muffin home to my granddaughter. I don't even know if she got that. But that's their national day, your national day. So I like that. Those are good things to have today in your life. Well, do we have an agreement? We've been going on about this for about 3 weeks. And I have said time and time again, I wish they wouldn't do this. And I know they're trying to appease the markets and all this stuff. But these Iranian, zealots, dictators, crazed people, demonic, that are leading that country, whoever's left, I have said before, I think they're dealing with many different people in the country, and I think it's one group saying one thing and a whole other group that's firing off drones and stuff and trying to hit ships in other countries. I think the country is fractured, and I think they're dealing with one group in one area, and there's a whole other group in the other area saying, "Oh heck no, we're not doing anything." So the president does the whole White House, camera, live feed, all that. Had another thing they were talking about, but then they talked about Iran quite a bit. He called off the strikes last night. He says they're begging for a deal. Probably have it by the weekend. But he didn't say for sure because, he said, you people will be all over me if it doesn't happen. Well, because we've been there before, it's a fair question by the press. Sometimes the press does ask really stupid questions. We're trying to set him up. That's the way press does. But I thought that one yesterday was what makes you, because they don't like to, he gets angry. Now, I'm a supporter, but he gets angry. What makes you feel confident? I like the confident this time. And he said, well, they're beat down. They're begging us. Well, I think they said they've got agreements with all these other countries. They've all signed off on it, Israel included. It's all a done deal. They got an agreement on the nuclear. They'll never go nuclear. He reiterated that several times. The Strait will be free indeed. And then you get up and they say no decision on possible deal, according to report. Where's this report coming from? Is it a legit report? I don't know. No final decision. This is the games they play. I'm of a belief. I think you don't stop the strikes until you see a boat with a white flag coming out to make the agreement or something. I mean, or they send a deal. I think that's the only way you can deal with them. I mean, you're already doing the strikes, and he called off one, and then that gives them more time, and then they don't. If the agreement comes, that's great. But if we get into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no deal. I mean, I'm cranking it back up. I mean, it's the only way you're going to push this deal through, I believe, is doing that. According to Newsmax report, they say they will not compromise on its quote-unquote red lines in negotiations. Well, some of that is Lebanon. Some of that is some other things. So they say that in the reports, according to the foreign ministry spokesman, that agreement remains speculative and nothing had been finalized. And he didn't say finalized. He just said we got one in the works. He added that a large part of negotiating, he being the foreign minister of Iran, that large part of the negotiating text had been finalized, but the U.S. repeatedly changed its positions during the talks. I suspect this is Iran doing that. They do this all the time. It's that kind of deal. For the country, will we get a deal? I sincerely doubt it. I just be honest. I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. I just don't think they do it. Every time we get to this end result, by gosh, don't step over the line. We got a deal going down, and then there's no deal. I think you just keep pounding targets of interest, and you keep the pressure up. And by gosh, they're still firing on tankers and stuff. I mean, and that's what I mean. I think there's different people inside the country. They're dealing with some group over here that says we're in control here, and we'll make decisions. And there's a whole nother even more radical group that's just out there, saying whatever, and who knows what's the truth? Who knows really in charge? We don't even know if the real Khomeini step forward. They say he's in a deep bunker. Couriers have get to him. He's highly injured. They need multiple surgeries. I mean, who even knows if this guy's alive? I mean, it could be it could be a corpse. It could be a guy sitting in a room somewhere. We don't know what that is. Nobody knows. It's all speculative, using that word. I just think we're going to get a deal. We did this last Friday and Friday before. I mean, through the weekend. I always do this around the weekend. We're going to have a deal through a weekend. They get the Friday drop in gas prices. Hint, hint. And he said, I suspect when the deal goes down, we're going to see gas prices drop like a rock. The markets were already responding well to this news. Nothing happens to the weekend, and then they start talking tough. First of the week, hit some strikes again. It's a back and forth. Again, white flag. White flag that we want to talk, whatever. I don't know. It's maybe not surrender, but surrender to ongoing aggression. We're done. We'll make the deal. We're begging. We'll go out in one of those fast boats, armed with nothing but a pen with a flag. Don't shoot us. Come to the first ship. Tell your leaders. We'll sign. It's the only way you're going to get any kind of deal. I mean, they're just monkeying around, messing around the situation, and trying to bide for time. And this is a tactic that they've used in the past. And the president is following it. I just think I've read reports that the president may be getting bad intel from people around him, and I've thought that forever. I mean, even the first term, certainly the first presidency, I think that he got really bad deal, and he's still got some people around him. But they do seem a little closer. They did pound them pretty good, and they said they reached out to them. They called them, so we'll see. He says they expect the deal to be signed in Europe in the coming days. The press was trying to pin him down on this weekend. He wouldn't do it. So I don't know, but he promised some more strikes. He said they called, wanted a deal. We just made a great settlement of the war with Iran, he told the reporters as he was sitting there in the Oval Office. I just don't buy it. I just don't. I think that somebody has said we're ready, but I don't think it's the IRGC. I don't think that at all. Those people will fight to the death. They're not going to give up. I mean, if they make the deal, they're going to start. They lose their leverage. I just don't think they're going to do it. But he did say several times in that address. I watched most of it. It's a great deal for America and for the world that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Of course, a part of the deal is that they will never seek to either build one or buy things to build one or buy one. Because you can, I'm sure somewhere there's somebody on the black market got a suitcase bomb or something you can load on a ballistic missile. I don't know. He said it's a big, very big thing, but we have a signing soon, and the documents are in pretty final shape, so we'll see. Adding that he had spoken to regional leaders, including Israeli Prime Minister Bibi, or Benjamin Netanyahu. He added that the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway for the flow of oil, which Iran claims to have shuttered, would also open once the deal was signed. But then he was bragging on there how they had snuck all these ships through with oil, millions of gallons. The whole Middle East is happy, as long beyond the Middle East, said Trump. I'm sorry, I don't like it. It doesn't feel right. There were reports that he had threatened to take Karg Island, but he backtracked. He does this. The president goes out to a line. Come on, step over the line. I dare you, knock the wood off my shoulder. And then he backs off. Okay, and nobody wants war. But if you're going to do this deal, you better do it right. And thank God the the Apache helicopter crew was okay. What an amazing story that was. Those that wedged between them started a fire. It didn't blow up though. And then they put it in the ocean. And an unmanned boat of some kind comes flying across the ocean and gets them. But they were in the water for a little bit. So, and that's the thing, it's business will get out of hand. Saying out, an F-35 or something goes down over the land and they capture a pilot or two or something like that. That's the kind of thing that leads to full-scale war. And that's the danger here. We're not going to leave our men and women, and there are women pilots flying sorties over Iran. There's videos out there of one getting ready to take off. There shows them taking off. I mean, they're women pilots now. I know they're all soldiers, but I'm going to tell you, the American stomach would be really, really tore up. We saw that in the Iraqi war. They had those women there, and I'll tell you, it does a whole different psychological hit to Americans back home. If they had the woman up there with a knife to her throat, threatening, you know what I mean? And it will escalate, and it will escalate quickly. And I don't think anybody wants that. Nobody wants a ground invasion of Iran. Lord knows we don't see the body bags and the flag draped coffins and all that. You can get this deal, but you got to keep the pressure up because they do not care. Meaning the fanatical, people like that. They're going to do what they want to do. So anyway, that's the top of the news. I mean, that's things that are happening. He said that based on the fact that discussions with the Islamic Republic of Iran have been brought to the highest level of Iranian leadership and approved, I have canceled the scheduled strikes and bombings against Iran this evening. Well, do we know it's the highest level? We are taking a lot of this is through third parties. I mean, there's no direct line. And they have the hotline number in the Oval Office, and Abdul is picking up over there and saying, let's negotiate. No, this is all through partners. Pakistan has played a part in this as well as others. And they're working through multiple people. It's not just one. And I suspect that those people are dealing with multiple people in the country. I mean, 3 levels of leadership have been killed. They are. I mean, there's atrocities going on in the country. They're trying to keep the people down. I mean, there's an uprising going on, but I don't think there'll be regime change. But it's been damaged. But people are vying for control, for power. I mean, that's what happens. And somebody, whoever they're negotiating with, we don't know if they could even maintain the leadership. They may be taken out by their own people. So I don't know. He had earlier said that they would hit them very hard, take Cargill. He says, we beat them down, but these are tough people that even if they lose ability, they're still going to. And there are back channels. They can get more drones. They can build their own. They can get resources. We can't stop all that. And the speedboats. I mean, they've got a bunch of them in reserve, so they can go out there and load it up with bombs on them, AK-47s, shoulder fire. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. Be a gnat that can cause some real damage. So the U.S. has confirmed a third strike on Indian crude tankers this week, and 3 Indian sailors got a U.S. strike on as one that was trying to go through. Aircraft fired 2 Hellfire missiles into the ship's engine room, so they weren't listening, so they didn't want to abide. So it's not a good place to be going sailing right now. I think of the Christopher Cross song, "Sailing." Not a good place to go sailing out there right now. A lot of intensity going on around in the Middle East, and now the Iranians have hit in the Red Sea, and they're trying to disrupt things there. So I'm just amazed. I mean, the nations of the world that have anything to do with it, I would think they would partner with us and join up and say, tell Iran enough, stop, or it's over. They'll take that line a lot further than we will when they get mad. When their way of life is when the sheiks over there get start getting hurt in the pocketbook a lot, they'll turn on them in a great way. But I don't guess we're there yet. President Trump the board of the Kennedy Center has appealed or delayed. They're seeking to delay to dump the Trump name. Trump is also appealing the ruling against $100,000 H-1B visa fee. So there's ongoing fight against that, all court matters. Um, there's a lot of discussion this weekend about the FISA authority with his naming of the new person in that who doesn't have a lot of background, hasn't have already any background into that. So they think some agreements, which I'm for, some of that spying is on us and it needs to die anyway. So they're not happy with his selection on that, and so there's pushback even from Republicans and the speaker as well about this. So there's a lot, there's a lot of stuff going back and forth as the House has went home the weekend. Um, but anyway, he named Jay Clayton, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, and former Securities and Exchange Commission chair, as the permanent director of national intelligence. He said few people anywhere in the legal community are respected as the level of Jay. He wrote, of course, on his Truth Social, urging swift Senate confirmation. It came after the House had adjourned, prompting complaints from Democrats, including Mr. Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut. Section 702 is a statutory authority, and letting it lapse would push collection into legal gray territory, with telecommunications carriers potentially unwilling to comply absent congressional authorization. Americans are not happy about any of this, the spying on us. So they're not going to find a lot of people that are friendly to some of those things that were put in after 9/11 anyway. They would say, let them lapse. You've spied on Americans, and we know that's happened. House Intelligence Committee Chair Rick Crawford, Republican Arkansas, said we're going into uncharted water, so I'm not sure what can be done with executive order. We'll find out. Does anybody disagree that executive authority needs to be, or all, the executive orders need to be reined in? This has gotten out of control for all presidents. And I've never seen it at a time. I've said for years, because everybody cheers when it's their side, when their politics, when their party is entrenched or in power, however you want to say it, elected. Oh yeah, use the pen. Well, then we see what would happen when it's not, good things, or wherever you see it, you're going to be very angry. But it's going to be getting to the point when a new president's elected, you're not going to be able to see him at the table for all the books that are stacked in front of him for signatures of executive orders. They're setting records on this. I'm concerned about that. Senator Mark Warner, Democrat Virginia, the top Democrat in the Senate Intelligence Committee, told reporters that carriers could balk on liability grounds. Trump has framed the stakes in terms of the 2026 World Cup, which is going on, fascinating to a lot of people, and American 250 celebrations. FISA 702 is very important to our military and keeping the American people safe. Well, that may be true, but it's also used on the American people, especially during the World Cup and American 250 celebrations. He wrote Wednesday on Truth. The statute allows U.S. agencies to collect communications from foreign targets abroad, with critics pressing for a warrant requirement when such sweeps capture Americans' communications. Absolutely. The program is on track to expire at midnight tonight. And I don't think they're going to get a deal done unless somehow, and I'd say it's murky water, can an executive order be put in place? I think a lot of Americans would cheer it, because these things have been used to spy on normal, patriotic, good Americans. We know that. And we don't like it. We have our rights are being violated that way, and they use it all in the sake of, the end justifies the means. We need to get these bad characters. Well, just keep them out of here. How about we just keep them out of here? We don't need to be spying on Americans. The people you're talking about are not Americans anyway. I would say most. Anyway, I just, they wrap all this up in military patriotism, and they try to make you feel bad. But nobody wants to be spied on. I mean, who wants that? Who wants you to be, coming through your discussions, your private discussions and things like that? It's none of their business. None of your business. None. And I don't care which party. It's none of your business. I'll stand on that. Let's see. Interesting story. Mullen and Blanche have said that they have located 146,000 unaccompanied migrant children who crossed the U.S.-Mexico border during the Biden administration were later released to sponsors, while nearly 300,000 children remain unaccounted for. Remember, they were just, they were blaming, they're not in pens. You got them in pens and all that. Well, they were just people, kids everywhere. We're talking about human trafficking and all that. Women carrying, pills because the rapes were occurring as they were crossing from the Mexico side and the American side. I mean, just brutality among just, decent people, not terrorists. But there's, bunches of them. So they say they have found 146, and they still have nearly 300,000 missing. That's incredible. Now they may be safe, they may be okay, but they were all supposed to check in, go back to the people that go check in for their court date years down the road, and nobody knew where they were at. Mullen criticized, and of course that's Mark Wayne Mullen, Homeland Security Secretary. He criticized the Biden administration's handling of unaccompanied minors, alleging that inadequate oversight allowed hundreds of thousands of children to be released without sufficient follow-up. There's no doubt about that. They may deny it, but there's no doubt about it. There's no way they were doing proper follow-up. Quote, when we start digging into these cases and you start hearing the absolute horrific things that took place underneath the Biden administration, either true neglect or at best, or criminal at worst, to allow 450,000 kids to go missing throughout this country, Mullen said. According to administration officials, more than 500,000 unaccompanied migrant children entered the United States during that administration's years, crossing without a parent or guardian. The children were transferred to the care of the Department of Health and Human Services and later released to sponsors in the United States. The Trump administration has made locating those children a priority, with federal agencies working to identify their whereabouts and determine whether they're safe. And we should. I mean, absolutely. Where they're at, they're safe. They're in here. Are these people? Are they good people? Are they bad people? They got the pit in the back, yard, or a locked trailer, or outbuilding. That's the horrific things that go on. They didn't provide any details on how the children were located or status of efforts to find those who remained unaccounted for. Again, those are numbers they're throwing. I hope it's legit and true. I do. And I hope the kids are okay. Who wants a kid to suffer? It's horrible. So I hope that's it's interesting. The president's health, they said that there was Viva la France. Do you like the World Cup? I was telling a story yesterday before I got into the medical part with President Trump. I was doing some missions work in Atlanta, Hotlanta, years and years and years ago with a group. And that's your line? Okay, gotcha. Vive la France. Okay, good. Love it. Oh, that's your line. Okay, man, I'm looking at two different things. That's my line. Anyway, we went to a Mexican restaurant to eat lunch, take a break, eat some lunch, cool off. It was a beautiful, but still, getting hungry, thirsty. And we went to this Mexican restaurant, and we didn't realize that very day, we weren't paying attention, obviously, we're doing missions, that it was that Mexico was playing in the World Cup, because they never won it. They were playing in the World Cup that day. And so this restaurant is alive. It's electric. They've got on, I ruined the entire business. Sorry. They had all the jerseys on. They were flying the flags, and they served us. They did a great job. But the place it reminded me of the times that I went to another place where we watched, some of the American football and college basketball and college football and all that, and how explosive it would be. And that way, just the sound and the cheers and but that was different teams and different people's fans. This was a whole restaurant rooting for Mexico. And so whenever they scored once, you couldn't hear. It was deafening that was in there. So kind of my World Cup memory. And of course they didn't. I think they even lost that match. Later I said, I'm glad we left before they lost, because then it would have been Depression Central. So, Um, anyway, the president was examined by White House physician on May 29th. This report was signed and dated May 29th by White House physician Captain Sean B. Barbabella, and President went under a comprehensive examination on May 26th at Walter Reed. The evaluation included a review of diagnostic studies and laboratory testing conducted over the previous year, as well as consultations with 22 specialty providers for multiple academic examination or not exam, institutions. The Washington Post reported that the involvement of 22 specialists marks the largest number of medical experts known to have participated in a single presidential physical examination. It's an extraordinary number, said Jonathan Reiner, who served as cardiologist for Dick Cheney, the late vice president. What specialties do they represent? Why so many? The White House said the involvement of multiple specialists reflects a comprehensive, multidisciplinary evaluation consistent with best practices for executive level medical care. The 79-year-old president was described as being in stable condition, based on portion of the report released by the White House. According to the report, Trump is 6'3". He weighs 238 pounds. His resting heart rate was measured at 73 beats per minute. His blood pressure was recorded at 105/71. His blood oxygen saturation at 98% on room air, and his temperature 98.7. So some people say they don't believe it, hogwash, blah, blah, blah. Because there have been all these people out there showing that he's in trouble, he's got bruises, he's got this. And he's 79. I mean, he's going to have that. So I don't know, if those, I mean, we just got to trust that it's true. I hope that it is, because that's the leader of the country. He was, his eye evaluation found a visual acuity, visual fields, and intraocular pressure to be within normal limits, while a dilated eye exam also reported as normal. They found no significant abnormalities during examinations of his head, ears, nose, and throat. They did note the scarring of his right ear consistent with a gunshot wound he sustained at Butler, Pennsylvania. Remember that. His hearing was described as intact, and his teeth were said to be in very good condition. It's all about the president. Stated that his thyroid gland and lymph nodes were normal, and ultrasound examination of his carotid artery showed normal results. A pulmonary assessment found his lungs clear. In addition, a scan of his chest revealed no abnormalities, according to the report. So it was a comprehensive testing, and they got a good report. So at least they're releasing something. Remember the days you don't get anything, like nobody's releasing anything. I would think that's certainly good for the Americans to hear. I mean, you're president. I mean, you are at 79 years old. It's still amazing to think about. He's amazing for his health, for his age. He's amazing. I know he needs to lose weight. He likes the burger. I need to lose weight, but I'm not 79, and he's in charge of the White House. Leading the country. And 79. I mean, 81, or I don't know when his birthday be. 81 when he leaves. I mean. This is getting into territory, and I've been for. I am for, and he's kind of outside the box. Most people that age, they're not maybe as bad as Biden. They're starting to get, lose it to a degree. Just sadly, their memory and other things. It could be dementia setting in. I'm for limits on that. I know we have a minimum. You have to be, I think it's 50, 45, 50, something like that. Minimum when you take office, something like that. I think it's 50. I could be wrong on that, but it's close to that. And I would think you have to be, to me, I think you have to be, I would like to see limits that you could be you need to be no older than 70 by the time you leave. And that would narrow the box and keep some of these out. And we wouldn't have to deal with this as much. Yes, younger people can have trouble, but you're less likely to run into that because they do undergo a full battery of things. And obviously they didn't report that on Biden because his would be, I'd be interested to see his reports. Absolutely. So I don't know. We shall see. Don't forget tonight. Last Friday we went to the track. We went to I-75. Had a great time. Not sure right now if I'm going to the track or not. Looking to see if anybody has a Friday night race at other racetracks. I-75 does not this week. If we're not, we'll be doing some live shows here. If not, we'll be there doing some check-ins and recording a lot of video and stuff. But it may just be here and take a lot to not travel Friday. And we got heavy, morning on Saturday. We're going live anyway, so we will let you know on that. Well, the NBA playoffs are still going on, and the Knicks pulled out game. They went up the third game, and they were down. Spurs had beat them pretty handily. They were handling them really good in the last game, and it's going to be interesting. Boy, the Knicks fans are ready for this thing to be over, obviously, and win the championship. It's 3-1 New York. It's game 5 be coming up. That'll be Saturday, 8:30 on ABC. Again, and this goes back to San Antonio at the Frost Bank Center. So we will see. Can they push it? Can they? Because they can't lose another one, being San Antonio. So we'll see. I like the Spurs. I'm not a hater of the Knicks. It's good that other teams that haven't been in a long time are going to win this thing. You get tired of seeing the same ones. A little bit more sports in baseball. Thursday, and the Marlins defeated the Diamondbacks 2-0. Miami should be the Nashville something. They need to move out of Miami. The Tigers destroyed the Twins 11-0. The Mets actually won a game. They're 30-38 on the year. Horrible record for them, and they're way deep in the standings. They were predicted to be fighting for the division lead. They beat the Cardinals 5-4. The Rangers beat the Royals 4-2. The Cubbies over the Rockies 9-3. The Dodgers now 44 wins on the year, 8-6 over the Pirates of Pittsburgh. And the Orioles beat the Mariners 7-5. The Braves still have, I believe, the best record in baseball, the Atlanta Braves. They will start a series against the White Sox. Well, they had a postponement. Actually, it was a makeup day. They were postponed. We've had a lot of rain in our area. So the schedule for today, let's see here. Now, they were rained out. Sorry, postponed. They were supposed to play. Atlanta has New York. So the Mets, Atlanta's at New York. New York 16-17 at home on the year. Big series, divisional. Philadelphia, other divisional for the Braves. Playing Milwaukee. So we'll see. But the Bravos, Strider on the mound against McLean. This game kicked first pitch 7:15. Can't wait to see that. Going to the standings. Hang on just a second. Let's pull this up. Let's just see there. Get down. We'll see the standings. And the East American League, the Tampa Bay Rays, also having a great season. The Yankees have now came up on them and none of them played great, but the Yankees a little better over the last 10. Everybody else is way out. Toronto, supposed to be a powerhouse. No. The White Sox, the Braves were postponed. Their division lead there. The Mariners won up over the Rangers. How about the Athletics? I think they're playing really good for the Athletics. That's another team that needs to move. The Braves, 45 wins. That's in baseball. They have a full 8 game. It was 9.5. Full 8 game lead now still on the Philadelphia Phillies. They're going to be playing the Mets, who are 15 games out. The Braves, if they can sweep this series, can put them 18 games out by the end of the weekend. And, of course, they could hurt the Phillies. And, of course, the Nationals and the Marlins. But Atlanta is dominating. They're 6-4 over the last 10. Phillies won better, so that's why they pulled up a game. Marlins, 8-2 over the last 10. Nice. Everybody else is 500. The Brewers, 41 wins, playing nice. They started off a little slow, but they've been cranking it out lately. The Cubbies started hot. They've gotten cold. They're 7.5 out. And those Dodgers, one game off of tying for the best record in the league, 44 wins, and they're up a full 8 on the Padres. Of course, they are a 2-time back-to-back champions. Can they do it a third time? We can't let it happen. Can't let it happen. Sorry, Dodger fans. Can't let that happen. So we need to fight. We need to stand against them. Can't let that happen. So looking forward to those. And then of course, um, the World Cup, the Men's World Cup. Let's see what's on tap for today. Today has Canada against Bosnia, and the United States does play today at 9 p.m. against Paraguay. So that is at SoFi Stadium in California. Canada is playing in Toronto against Bosnia at Toronto at BMO Field. So we have one at 3 today on Fox and Peacock and Teleportes, and the same for the United States game. So 9 p.m. You can check out the World Cup. We'll see here. Saturday has Qatar against Switzerland, Brazil against Morocco, Haiti against Scotland. Sunday has Australia against Turkey, Germany against Curacao, excuse me, said that wrong. Netherlands against Japan, Ivory Coast against Ecuador, and Sweden against Tunisia. Going into Monday, Spain and Cape Verde, Belgium against Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay. There they are, Iran in the World Cup against New Zealand. I wonder if they would like to defect. Well, it used to be that defections from the Soviet teams. I wonder if they would like to defect. They're in California. Imagine how weird that feels for them to be in California playing the World Cup. Sport's supposed to transcend all that, but in California playing the World Cup in the country that your country, they don't call it a war, but it is a war. So, thank y'all for stopping by today. On Tuesday, France against Senegal, Iraq against Norway, Argentina against Algeria, and let's do a couple of more. Wednesday, Austria against Jordan, Portugal against Congo, Democratic Republic, England, a lot of people rooting for England, Croatia, Ghana against Panama, Uzbekistan against Colombia. And then Thursday, June 18th, Chechnya against South Africa. And then it's back to the Switzerland, Bosnia, Canada, Qatar. So we kind of come full circle. So there you go. A lot of games, a lot of big matches. Some are heavy. Today, just two. Today, just 4 teams, two matches. Tomorrow, 3. Sunday, 5. And then it comes Monday, 4, then 3, then 5 again. So the World Cup, check it out. Now, it's a big deal. It is an absolute huge deal. Don't know if you watch, but a lot of the world does. This will be, it's great for the marketing, ticket sales. It's not good for some teams if they lose. Your life is in danger. Your life is in danger. You go home. There's been times players have been pulled out of their homes after a big loss in the World Cup, pulled out and never be seen again. That's horrible. But that's happened in Brazil. I know. Sad. Let your morning show. Hey, see us tonight. I think we'll be on. I don't think we'll be at a track, but if we do, we'll post from there. I do. We are going to be returning to the track, getting interviews and some live action of some of these great dirt tracks in our region here in the USA Southeast. And then tonight we'll do a couple 3 shows. So we got to get caught up on news and sports and all that good stuff, and music show maybe. We'll try to do that and get things ready for our Sunday morning shows. Don't forget, scan the QR code on the screen for our Substack. If you do a free subscribe, you get in our contest that we're running through the month of June. Also, our Wolf Nation coffee. You can find that out there too. For that, if you look us up, that's posted everywhere. I'm drinking some today. Wolf Nation coffee. It's great. You're seeing a lot more from us in lots of different ways. I'm Dave the Cornbread Man for the Wolf Nation Network, which is many podcasts. The Southern Patriots, the Cornbread Nation, Patriot Nation. Got bunches of them. But we're called the Wolf Nation Network, as you see behind me. And don't forget, in the Saturday morning, our live first live. We do that just a short first live, 15, 16 minutes through the week, 1 hour live in the morning, plus the How Big a Boy Are You? Only seen on Substack. That'll also be in the morning. And the Cornbread Man and Biscuit Boy morning show, a packed Saturday morning. So we're getting cranked back up. I've been through a lot in the last 6 weeks. We're still negotiating and navigating and praying through, grieving the loss of my wife. And we're happy to be here, though. It's of a great comfort. We will see you. Take care.
Why does it hurt?